everyone, Regan here with Grow Crazy, and today I'm going to go over my top 10 gardening, farming, homesteading, permaculture books. All the books that are my favorite on that subject I will be going over with you. They're all so different and unique that you can't really put them in an order. So no particular order. Let's get started. The first one is called The Beautiful Edible Garden, and it is by Leslie Bennett and Stefani Bittner. I love this book because it's about how to make food beautiful. So instead of growing food in rows, this really incorporates it into a landscape design, which I think is something worth looking into because vegetables are actually really gorgeous. Like eggplants are this beautiful purple color and have these amazing green, bright, vibrant leaves. And there's basil, there's like purple basil and green basil and basil with little purple flowers. There's amaranth, which is a great cut flower, but also edible. So it's really important to look at food not only as something to consume, but as something that's beautiful and pleasant to look at. And so this book really describes what to do with your food, what to grow next to each other, how to, think about colors and color schemes within your garden. It's a really unique book, and I highly recommend it because it's beautiful, it's well organized, and it definitely thinks about food in a different way and how to think about it within your landscape of your home. So the next one is called One Magic Square, Vegetable Gardening by Lolo Houbein. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This basically takes a 3-foot by 3-foot square and tells you how to garden within that space and how to block out different flowers and vegetables and things like that. And you can also theme each square. So if you have one square on all your lettuces, and one is an herbal square, another one is all the things that help cure cancer, which tells you about that in this. So I definitely recommend this if you have a small space or want to think about gardening within a different organizational mindset as opposed to just rows or a landscape design. It doesn't quite have as many pictures. It's mostly words, but it does have these little illustrations that kind of tell you how you can design each square. So you can see here, they put flowers in the corners, some lettuce on the top. I'm not sure what they put in the center there. And this one's called the stir fry plot. So it's a cool way to think about food. Anyways, I highly recommend it if you want to think about your vegetable garden in a different way. One Magic Square Vegetable Garden by Lolo Houbein. I love this book. I just got it from a friend of mine for Christmas, and it's called Farm Anatomy, The Curious Parts and Pieces of Country Life by Julia Rothman. I love this book because of the illustrations. The drawings in this are fun to look at, colorful, vibrant, and really break down everything you need to know about farming step by step, which I don't find in many farm books. A lot of it's word heavy, and I'm a very visual person, so being able to see the steps that they talk about in illustration form is really cool, and I'll show you what I mean. It talks about fencing, preserving, the different locations, spring frost and autumn frost, all the different bean seeds. It has everything labeled, the parts of a pig. They have also chicken in here, goat, things like that. So rabbit even, wine making, and you can see they even illustrate all of the equipment you need. And it's just a fun, colorful book that really looks at all of the basic steps of farming, everything you can possibly think of. So I definitely, if you want something fun, easy to understand, and breaks everything down for you, this is a great book. It's probably really great for kids too. I mean, it does have some words in it, but because of all the illustrations, it does make it easy for everyone to understand and to get into. The next one I don't currently have with me. I lent it to somebody and never got it back from them, but I guess my books that I lent them inspired them to go on to take landscape and agriculture classes and courses in schools. So I'm willing to part with it because it was on a beneficial note. It's called The Edible Balcony, which I guess I don't really need this book anymore since I live in a country setting. The Edible Balcony, it would be useful because we do have a balcony, but it's also extremely useful for anyone who's living in an urban setting who doesn't have a yard. So all of my urban dwellers, this is the book for you because it tells you all of the unique creative projects you can do on your balcony and how to grow food in a successful, productive manner and utilizing all of the space you possibly can think of, both vertically and horizontally. So definitely recommend this book. It's called The Edible Balcony by Alex Mitchell. Another book that I found helpful is called Gaia's Garden, and it's by Toby Hemenway. This one is all about permaculture. So if you're a beginner or just want to know the basics and the understanding fundamentals of permaculture, this is the book for you. Gaia's Garden really talks about and breaks down what permaculture is, how to utilize it, how to bring it into your garden space. So the next book, which I adore and love and cherish with every fiber of my being, is called The Edible Garden. It's by Alys Fowler. This also is accompanied by a BBC TV show that Alys Fowler put together and created a book to go along with the show. So I definitely recommend both. This book, along with the show, is really, really quirky and fun. It's well illustrated, pictures. It talks about everything from foraging to composting to raising chickens. And she does this all within a pretty small space. It's also really good if you live in an urban setting to check out this book. She does a little bit on cooking, what she does with the food that she grows, how to make different drinks with the things that she grows, and then also how to start seeds and breaking down all the different growing seasons and what to do within those seasons. So I definitely recommend both this book and this show. I will be going over the top shows that I love on gardening in a later episode, and that show, The Edible Garden, will be included in that. But just as a little quick preview, definitely recommend that. So check this book out if you're interested in really being inspired to garden and getting the basic knowledge on everything you possibly can think of on edible gardening. So check this book out. The next one is a must-have, absolutely must, if you want to grow all the weird varieties of fruits and vegetables you've never heard of and can't normally find in the store, which, let's face it, if you're gardening, then you want to grow the things you normally can't buy in the store because that's what makes it all so worth it. So this book is called Veggie Garden Remix, and it is by Niki Jabbour. Niki Jabbour is a really big name within the gardening community, so all of her books are really, really interesting, but this one's one of her latest, and it is amazing. I definitely recommend it. It's definitely a food porn book, but it has beautiful, beautiful pictures on all different types of varieties of fruits and vegetables that you can think of. So she has one on beets, tomatoes, potatoes, edible flowers, let's see, there we go, peppers, and she labels them all and tells you all about the different varieties, how to grow them, how to start them, how to harvest them, what to do with them. So I definitely recommend this book if you really want to think outside of the box and start growing all those things you normally can't find in the grocery store. She also lists different seed catalogs and companies that you can get all of these varieties from. Just on a side note, these are peas, and that purple pea, I grow a different kind of variety that's purple, but it's pretty much essentially the same, just probably different flavor notes and things like that and growing habits. But that purple pea is so fun because it's also bright green on the inside, and it is so tasty, tender, delicious, grows really well, is a vigorous plant, creates this great wall with all these amazing little tendrils that are also edible. So it's a really fun pea to grow, and it's just beautiful. I mean, look at that purple color. It's incredible. This one that she's talking about is called Royal Snow. I can't remember the one that I grew. I got it from Seed Territorial. So the next one is not about food, but about flowers. And flowers are really, really essential to any garden because it attracts all of the amazing, wonderful, beneficial pollinators that we need to grow our fruits and vegetables and pollinate them. So this one is called Floret Farms Cut Flower Garden by Erin with Julia Chai. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that name right, but this one I got because I started gardening in Washington, and this woman is based out of Washington. But I still, even if you're not in Washington, highly recommend this book. I'm hitting my little flowers. And these flowers that she talks about are incredibly beautiful. She breaks down every single flower you could possibly think of, how to grow them, what to do with them, how to care for them, all of that. And she also has a company online that sells the like tubers and the seeds and everything like that. And the varieties that she has are unbeatable in compared to any other store that I've seen. They're just absolutely wonderful and gorgeous and just a rainbow colorful mess. I mean, look at that. She also breaks down her book into seasons and then talks about what to do within those seasons and your to-do list and basic knowledge that you need to know within the seasons. I never was into cut flowers for the longest time, and then my job wanted me to do cut flowers for the restaurant and to really start thinking about that, and I didn't quite know where to begin or where to start, and I got this book and just opened up a whole new world to myself about flowers. So the next one is a little bit odd. It's actually inspired by a fictional book. I forget what the books are called. I think it's like Brother Cadfael's Mysteries. So it's about this monk who essentially solves all of these different kinds of mysteries based on herbs and things that he grows within his garden and his like vast plant knowledge. So then somebody created a book on all of the herbs and medicinal plants that he uses within the fictional book. So it's called Brother Cadfael's Herb Garden, an illustrated companion to the medieval plants and their uses by Rob Talbot and Robin Whiteman. This book is basically just breaks down and describes all of the medicinal herbs that you can possibly use. I also just like that it kind of goes back to like the basics. Just like the medieval times, which is kind of fun. So as you can see here, it talks about the common uses, culinary, medicinal, all of that. So it's just packed full of information on all of the different herbs that you could possibly think of. So again, here's one on marjoram, and then common uses, what it does, medieval, culinary. It just is simple. It breaks everything down. It's straight to the point. And it's all about medicinal herbs. So if you're interested in a medicinal garden and an herbal garden, buy this book. And the next one, and the last one, but definitely not the least, it's basically just straight up food growing porn. This is a great book to read in the winter, and it's called Growing Beautiful Food, A Gardener's Guide to Cultivating Extraordinary Vegetables and Fruit by Matthew Benson. I'm sure some of you might have seen this book wandering around. It's been really popular, and I see it a lot in libraries and bookstores in the gardening section. So definitely recommend this book when you are in the winter and you can't do much gardening and you need some more inspiration and you need to like get your fix on gardening. This one is a great one to curl up by the fire on the couch with and just look at all of the beautiful pictures. The writing in it too is really inspirational. The stories, the way it's just kind of told is definitely very much like a cuddle on the couch and read all of the inspirational little bits and pieces on this. This book is really educational as well. Like it does break down how to grow different foods, fruits and vegetables, and then it has recipes as well. But it also is just like a fun read. It's really, really interesting to me because this book has a little bit of everything in it. And not to mention the imagery and the pictures are just beautiful. So, and I like the feel of the pages. As I'm like flipping the pages, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to cuddle on the on the couch and read this book again. So yeah, definitely recommend this book as a cherished, inspirational, beautiful, all-inclusive gardening food book. So that concludes my top 10 gardening books so far in my gardening career. I hope you guys found that helpful. I know when I first started getting into gardening, was researching the crap out of books and shows and everything I could possibly think of to get as much information as I possibly could on gardening. So hopefully you find this helpful. I will list all of the books that I mentioned down below in the comment section. And if you guys have any other suggestions on books to read or look at, feel free to comment below. And until next time, Have fun, enjoy, be inspired, eat good food, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching Grow Crazy.